Hi there, my name is Liam Allport. I'm a TC with GlideFast Consulting. Today I'm going to cover transfer orders as they relate to hardware asset management. To start, we're going to open the Hardware Asset Workspace by clicking Workspaces and going down to Hardware Asset Workspace. From here, we'll open the Inventory view and then open the Transfer Orders list. I'll select New to create a new transfer order from scratch. Here, we'll enter our mandatory fields. The From Stockroom is where we are transferring assets from. The To Stockroom is the destination for these assets. Additionally, we have a delivery by date to make sure that the transfer order completes in a timely fashion. In this case, we'll leave this field blank and click Save. We'll notice that the stage of the transfer order is still in a draft stage. This is because we need to add transfer order lines to specify which assets we want to transfer. We'll click Transfer Order Lines and select the New button. Firstly, we'll specify the model. In this case, Dell Alienware M14X. It should be noted that because this is not a consumable asset, we need to specify the specific asset which is going to be transferred. We can also see that the quantity requested is not editable as we are only able to transfer the singular asset. Once my information is populated, I can hit Submit. Navigating to the asset, we can see that the substate has updated to a pending transfer state as it is currently contained within our transfer order line. If we go back to our transfer order, we can also see that the transfer order line has been added. Let's add a consumable model. Again, we'll select our model here. As this is a consumable model, we can see that the asset field is now read-only, and the quantity requested is editable. This is because consumable models are tracked qualitatively and not by individual asset. Once we enter a quantity requested, we can hit Submit. Navigating back to the transfer order, we can see that our transfer order line was added successfully. Because this transfer order is still in a stage of draft, we can also remove transfer order lines as needed. Let's open up our Logitech wireless keyboard transfer order line. If this asset was added accidentally or no longer needs to be transferred, we can click the Cancel UI action. This will update any assets that were reserved and also cancel out the transfer order line while keeping the transfer order intact. In order to start the fulfillment process, we need to complete a task on the transfer order line. Let's open up our Alienware M14X transfer order line. Here we can see we have one transfer order line task. This task is ready for fulfillment. If we open this task and close the task, this will kick off the fulfillment process. Navigating back to our transfer order line and refreshing the list, we can see we now have two more transfer order line tasks. We have a prepare for shipment task as well as a receive task. Receive task can be used if assets do not need to be shipped, for example, transferring between two local stockrooms. In this scenario, though, let's assume that our assets need to be shipped. We'll open up the prepare for shipment task. Once we have done work to prepare this asset for shipment, we can close this task to move on to the next stage in the lifecycle. Quick note, transfer order line subtasks can be configured to provide users with step-by-step instructions on how to fulfill these tasks. In this case, we'll just close this task. Navigating back to the transfer order line and refreshing our task list, we can see that the receive task is now in a close skip state. This is to prevent users from prematurely receiving assets if they are shipping. Let's open up the ship task. Scrolling down on this form, we see we have information about the shipment tracking, including the shipping carrier, a tracking number, as well as a ship date. Once this information is populated, we can close the task. Refreshing the task list again, we can see our receive task is now back in an open state. Let's open up this task. Receiving means that the assets have arrived at the destination stockroom. We can validate the assets that have arrived by clicking on the shipment assets list and looking at the asset that is attached to this transfer order line. Once we have confirmed that the assets match what we expect to receive, we can close this task. Finally, we have a deliver task. This is to ensure that the assets are either stocked or arrive to the user that they were ordered for. Once this has occurred, we can close the task, navigate back to our transfer order line, and see that the stage has updated to delivered. Additionally, if we go back to our transfer order, we can see that the stage has updated to delivered as all transfer order lines have been completed. Once the transfer order reaches the delivered stage, it is considered complete.